Star Wars fans, episode 11 of the Andor show is here and we'll be breaking it down for you, but I got one question for you. Where is this show going? There's only one episode left. How is this season going to end and lead into a season 2? What's up guys, it's Mike, a guy who loves Star Wars here. Today we're breaking down episode 11 of the Andor show. Now right away, this episode was not as good as the last. Episode 10 was by far my favorite episode, and this one was kind of a drop-off. Tell me in the comments what you thought of this episode, rank it out of 10, and as always, I'll give you my ranking after we break down the episode. So the episode starts on Narkina 5, where the prison was, where Cassian and this other guy named Melshi seem to be the only two prisoners that either escaped or went the same direction. All these prisoners we saw swimming off of the prison in the last episode clearly all went in different directions, because the episode opens and Cassian and Melshi are the only two that are on the side of this cliff waiting for these ships to leave. Then it cuts to an extreme close-up of B2 on Ferrix, and we find out that Marva has died. Cassian's mom, Marva Andor, has passed away. Now the name of this episode is Daughter of Ferrix, referring to Marva because she was one of the daughters of Ferrix, which seems to be like a council for Ferrix. Cuts back to Narkina 5 with Cassian and Melshi, where they find two alien guys who are sitting on a riverbed and they have a ship to escape the planet. Melshi's like, I'm feeling it, let's just go for this one, and he sprints and Cassian follows after him because what else is he going to do? And they get caught in this trap. At first they think the aliens are going to kill them and they end up talking their way out of it, and the aliens actually give them transport to Neamos. Now this is the same planet that Cassian just got arrested on, and it seems to be pretty empty because the Empire was there, they arrested a bunch of people, and people were like, yeah, I'm not feeling this planet anymore, and probably dipped. But Cassian goes back to his old place where he had his guns and his credits over the shower. There's new people there, aliens sleeping in his bed, so he takes his stuff and leaves. Back on Coruscant, Vel goes to Luthen's gallery, but Luthen's not there right now. He's actually going out to see Saw Gerrera, which is epic. But Vel is looking for Luthen, and Leia, who is Luthen's assistant, is like, yeah, no, he ain't here. Vel tells her Marva has died, Andor's mom, so he's likely to come back for the funeral, so I am going to Ferrix. On Ferrix, B2 is very upset about Marva's passing and will not leave the house. Not for nothing, say what you will about the Andor show, but B2 is such a great add-on for a droid for Star Wars. I mean, look at all the great droids you've had in the past with Chopper from Rebels, with R2-D2, of course, C-3PO, even BB-8 in the sequels was pretty cool, and now you have B2. Then we see Bix for the first time this episode, and we know that she was getting tortured a whole lot, and the Empire brings her into a room, shows her a picture of Anton Krieger, and says, is this the guy that you've been talking to? Obviously it's not, but Krieger is one of the rebels. Then we got to Mon Mothma's house where her daughter is doing some weird chanting stuff that is really honestly kinda creepy, but Vel shows up and they have a conversation about Mon Mothma's situation. She's in crazy amounts of debt, and the Empire is about to check her accounts very, very soon, and she's going to be in deep, deep doo-doo. Then it cuts to Syril, and he's laying in bed, and his mom comes in and yells at him, because why is this character even a thing? He's so pointless. All he does is get yelled at by his mom and live at home and do nothing, and he's so pointless that he really just angers me every time I see his stupid little face. But even he finds out that Marva has died, and Cassian is likely to show up at the funeral. So Syril Boy is going to find a way off the planet. Then we see Luthen, who's going to see Saw Gerrera again, and Saw Gerrera is an amazing character from Rogue One, of course. But the last time we saw Saw, Luthen came to see him and gave him a proposition to help Krieger out in exchange for credits and, of course, parts for his ships. Saw says, no, I'd never work with Krieger. He's a separatist. I'd never do that. And then when Luthen comes back in this episode, he's like, yeah, sure, I'll work with Krieger. And Luthen's like, no, you won't, because it's an ISB trap and I can't lose you and Krieger. Saw's very upset by this because he doesn't know how Luthen knows that it's a trap, and he also doesn't like the fact that he is letting Krieger and his 30 guys die without helping him. But Saw agrees that this is a necessary sacrifice, and it is a time of war. Then we see Syril steal from his own mom. He goes into her lock, steals a bunch of credits, because he's going to Ferrix to find Andor. I don't know. I honestly don't care about this character in the slightest. He is the most useless piece of screen time in Star Wars ever. But it's okay, because the next scene is Luthen trying to leave the planet that Saw Gerrera was on and get caught by the Empire. Now this weird looking Star Destroyer with a bunch of solar panels on it starts to drag him into a tractor beam, and he has to escape it in an amazing way, where his ship literally has lightsabers coming out the side, and he spins around and destroys some TIE fighters and gets out of there. This show really needs some more of these space fighting scenes because they do them so well. And the episode ends with Cassian calling one of his friends on Ferrix, telling him to tell Marva that he's okay and she would be proud of him. And he says, look, Marva is dead. And it ends with Cassian having an emotional moment and then going over to Melshi and giving him a gun. He says, we need to split up. We need to tell everybody about what's going on in these Imperial prisons, and we have to make it stop. So all in all, a pretty decent episode. Not better than episode 10, clearly. It's better than most of the episodes of the Andor show. I would say that fight scene in space with Luthen and the Empire made it so much better. Of course, seeing Saw Gerrera makes it amazing. But overall, a pretty decent episode. If I were to rank it out of 10, I'd give it a 7.5 out of 10. It wasn't terrible. It wasn't even bad. It was good. But clearly, it seems that the finale of this show is going to be Marva's funeral, and probably Cassian showing up to it and having a bunch of Imperials after him. Of course, Syril after him, and even Luthen himself after him. Cassian's just kind of a one-man show right now, with the Rebels, the Empire, Syril Man after him, all at the same time. But tell me in the comments below what you thought of this episode. Rank it out of 10, of course, if you haven't yet. Are you digging Syril? Are you loving the Empire? Are you loving Luthen and Saw Gerrera and the fight scenes in space? Tell me in the comments below. Smash like if you like this video. Hit subscribe and hit that bell so you get notified every time I post a video, and my pretty face will show up in the recommended feed of yours. Again, there's only one episode left of this show until we have to wait probably like a year and a half until season 2. So hopefully we get a great finale. We'll be live next Tuesday at 4 p.m. to give predictions for that episode. Of course, just talking about Star Wars news as well. It's a lot of fun on those live streams, so don't forget to come around. And may the Force be with you. Always.